All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome
What
to
is
Florida
going on?
Kings. How's everyone doing?
Good.
I took a
Same
nap, so I was like a little bit groggy. I was like, oh my goodness.
Lucky you. So, and Brandon, how's your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah,
Stayed busy.
yeah.
Was
I know,
productive.
Yeah, you went to go see the Ant-Man movie then?
Yeah. In 3D actually.
Nice. Okay,
Mhm.
that's probably a good movie
Yeah.
to see in 3D.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
had to experience the quantum realm in 3D.
It's probably the most beautiful part then. I mean, because the movie, we'll talk about that later, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that with hopefully I think the Cult Lords might join us in a little bit.
Awesome.
And we'll talk about that because the Cult Lords joined us live, and we watched it live in the theater, which was cool. So we missed you, Brandon. There, I came super late, and I was looking like, he didn't show up. So
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
nah,
couldn't make it over to Naperville, unfortunately.
I was talking to you. I knew.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I even thought it was a different theater, and I'm like, oh shit, it's that one. So I was like even booking it. I was like, oh man, I thought I had some more time. So I was like booking it. I think I walked in right when the preview started. But
yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there next time.
We didn't take any pictures. I felt like it was so bad. Like, man.
We did do the Cult Lords on their channel, so we did right out of the theater reaction, which is super awesome. See if I can bring it up real quick because they made a pretty damn good thumbnail. I'll give them that.
I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it. That was great.
I was like, "Is that us? This is amazing."
Yeah, so show real quick. Yeah, so I think we'll probably do that again. Hopefully, I think it was fun. And like I like it. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. You know what I mean? Granted, it's not $20 or anything. But once you add all the people,
you feel. I think
it's worth it.
I was worth it. A total like $15 a person. Like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah. So here's the trailer with us. So Brian Alfredo, myself. I think I got JR and Dane over there. So that was a great. Well, I
was watching the video. I didn't realize I looked that much bigger than you guys.
Well, I'm stuck between Fredo and JR, so I'm trying to make myself a little smaller, trying to suck it in. So I'm taking all that meat and fat and kind of like feel like a sausage just stuck in there. But it was a fun time. I think we would have more space. There's some guys on the next to us that were
they're coaching
having a meeting. Yeah. So they were cool about it. But that was a fun time, yeah. And we just went right from the theater to the bar. Talked about the movie for a little bit and then ate and then kind of just hung out and talked to some BTS with the Cult Lords. So
nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Nice. I'll be there next time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got to be right. That was fun. And I think
there we go.
Yeah. All right. You wanna bring them in and then what would you want to do? Well, we'll do Ant-Man first.
Yeah, do Ant-Man first, and then we'll do Last of Us afterwards. Because I gotta talk about Last of Us. I don't know.
100%.
I'm getting addicted, guys. It's bad. Like it was Sunday. I was looking at times. I was like, man, how long gonna wait?
What's going on, fellas?
You got the crawls? You got the itchies?
I'm addicted to The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So you ain't more of that Last of Us? You ain't more episodes of that Last of Us? I'll take it.
You need more of that.
There you go.
You can hear us all right?
Yeah, you guys sound good.
What do you got there? What is that, Makers? It's too
Cavazier.
Oh, Cavazier or Hennessy.
Yeah.
That's that Henny, dude.
Yeah, the Henny.
The label is kind of washed out on camera.
It's because I've used it enough.
Before we go on, can I ask you something, Brian?
Sure.
You saw our music video that we did where we like went through a couple of things. We got some more coming up, but do you think it'd be all right if one of the songs that I want to share is a Public Enemy song, one of my favorites from college?
Which one?
Shut Them Down.
Yes.
All
I
right.
think it'd be fine.
Now, would it be okay? Because we're kind of dancing with like the screen in the back. If I wore a baseball jacket and a hat while I kind of sang.
You have to do that. You have to do that. You have to look like Chuck D. That's the only way you can do it.
So then, is it okay? Is it not going too far if I have Dane wear a big clock around his neck and then have some sunglasses and he's kind of like dancing along with me as we do this? Is that going too far?
No, I think that's still fine.
Is it going too far if then we put like a gold grill on his feet? Is that going too far?
I think that's hilarious. That is crazy. I want to see it now. You
I want to see.
I have to see this.
That's just a teaser.
Well, we cut the line at the shoe polish. We said that's probably going too far.
That'll be too far. Yeah, that'll be too far.
We're just kidding. We would have never do that. But no, we just wanted to know, like, if we dress like Public Enemy, is that like appropriating in any way or fashion or form?
Chuck D is an icon. I think that doing that music, I think that's fine. I mean, especially that's what you listen to. This is what
I listen to.
Point.
I listen to 80s and 90s rap along with other things in rock and stuff. But when I listen to hip hop, it's 80s and 90s. I don't listen to like Kendrick Lamar and Kodak Black, like my daughters. They're always like, I'll listen to like what they're listening to. I go, who is this? They're like, this is Migos. And I'm like, who's Migos?
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know,
I think there's a different level. There's Kendrick Lamar, and then Migos is a totally different genre.
Oh, I know.
Kendrick Lamar deserves to be in this
Kodak
conversation.
Black is like totally different. I've learned all about Kodak Black and Tyler the Creator and all that stuff. So
you know what I realize? I'm getting old.
Like
when you tell me these things, I'm like, no, they're not the same. They're not. They don't have the same level of greatness. You know, that's what you need. You need Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, yes. Everyone else, they're in this box. I stay over there.
Yeah,
I don't go there.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of mumble rap, right? Where they kind of just
all the time.
Yeah,
but I'm like, dude, if I don't know what you're talking about and you're saying the same thing over and over again, then I'm not going to listen to you. It's just not. That's not for me.
It's not a good song.
Have you guys seen those?
They got me listening to stuff like Bobby Shmurda, and I'm like, I kind of like that song, but I can't
Bobby Shmurda.
Why? Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Brandon. We missed you the other day.
I know, Brandon.
A stand-in for your Spoiler Kings. I hope you guys are okay. I stuck him on the thumbnail too.
Oh, definitely. I thought that was awesome. That's Fredo right there. He's in the
comments.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
He's down in the comments wearing his Ultimate Warrior.
Turning into Modoc.
Yeah.
Why you say I'm flat? Oh, because I was stretching. That's right.
I'll make it next time. I had some stuff. I had some stuff going on that I had to
We were wanting to lift your spirits, though.
Say what?
We were wanting to lift your spirits.
I appreciate that.
With spirits.
It was with spirits.
Yeah,
that's
what we were drinking. Spirits and some fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be there next time.
Did you guys hear the sound? It was about 50% quality. So
it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought it was gonna be much worse. But
yeah,
fine. I can actually understand what we're still saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
cool.
Good.
Next
I
time,
had to do some manipulation of it in the background. I mean, you're a Premiere Pro. You can do some stuff, but there's no. And the funny thing, and I'm not meaning this as a dig or anything, but for some reason the microphone constantly kept up the kids.
Yeah.
Way in the background. I'm like, why is it picking like way over there, and yet our voices aren't that loud? What
it's
is
the
up?
decibels.
Like
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So they're higher decibel, and that's what happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So.
All right, we're ready when you guys are.
I'll show you what the thing I got. Here it is. So this is what when we're live, when we're all together. So you plug in the mics up here. You can plug in the headphones if you want, so you can monitor each other. Everyone can monitor each other. You got little buttons for like sound effects, which is cool. Yeah, and then just plug in.
What is that?
The audio
Tank.
This is the Zoom H8.
The Zoom H.
or no, I'm sorry, it's different. I'm sorry, it's the PodTrack
The
P4.
PodTrack. Exactly.
Yeah, the Zoom H8 I was gonna get. It's a little different, but the Zoom PodTrack I think was what I liked. So it came with a little kit. So it came with 4 mics, 4 stands, 4 headphones.
Oh wow.
You know, and it's
so
battery
when you're
operated.
doing it, you
so-
can hear everyone. It's like it really
Yeah.
isolates just on your sound. It's very clear.
We
It's
need that.
the best
Yeah.
one.
So it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Yeah, you just plug in the mics, and then it can plug into your phone, and then it has SD card in there too, so we can record the audio separate from the video,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
or you can do plug straight into your camera too,
Right.
Yeah.
or your phone. So
Nice.
that's pretty nice. I like it. We
was
only
like-
used it a handful of twice, I think.
Yeah, I
Shoot,
think we've
if I
only
had
used it
known you
twice.
had that, I would have said bring that.
Yeah, so next time
we
we'll
were talking about it,
definitely
and I
wanna
forgot
bring it.
about it. But
Yeah.
I like it because you can plug it in and it runs off of power or batteries, and you don't have to worry about plugging it in, which is
Right.
nice.
When we went to tailgate with the Bears, that's when we used that.
Yeah.
That's why it's so
Oh,
clear in our audio.
nice.
Nice.
And so it'll record inside that itself, then, right?
It can. You can
Or
save
you
the
just
audio,
You stream
or
it.
you can go straight to your camera, and then it'll save on your camera audio.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
but that's pretty cool. Yeah, just USB-C.
That'll be perfect
It's
for our
little.
live stream from C2E2.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
have to leave that because you're going to Disney World.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta leave this with one of you guys.
Hank.
I'm going to Disney during C2E2.
Disney Comic-Con. Disney Comic. You made the wrong decision there.
I know, right? I know. Well, I'm gonna come.
What's up, Perp? Perp Minded. What's up?
going on,
How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up?
Appreciate the stream this weekend. That was fun. It was a whole lot of fun. Great conversation. Man, you kept it going too, because there was a lot of us on screen. So that was really impressive. I was impressed the way you did everything. So I just wanted to, put my 2 cents in there and say, hey man, that was a lot of fun. We gotta do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like nine people, I think.
Yeah.
On that stream,
He kept it up going for all of us. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like
I like
33
it.
burning questions. I was like, man, he's getting it going.
Also, everyone had their own opinion, which I like too. So that's always fun. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. If there you go, Perp. There you go. So yeah, we're gonna do the Ant-Man kind of review and discussion first. And then we'll get into, and then if Colards, if you want to stay, I don't know if you guys already seen The Last of Us or not.
We just wrapped up filming our review for
Your
Wednesday.
review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
So if you want to stay, because we're gonna talk about it, and that'll be our video. Or if you guys, I know it'll get late by then. So if you need to take off by then. But cool, man. We'll just start off with Ant-Man. So
Sounds like fun. Let's do this.
cool. So I'll do the
So wait a minute,
transition.
Did Brandman see Ant-Man?
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Oh, you
I
got
did
your
go
own?
see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You saw it in 3D.
I don't know, you gotta be special. Man. Let's see in
Yeah.
3D.
Not all fancy.
How about this? I saw it in 3D too. Dolby 3D. How about that?
You saw it
Did you
twice.
see it in?
I've
But
already
did you
seen
see it in?
twice.
But did you see it in IMAX 3D?
Mm.
Why you gotta keep going? Why you keep
Is
going
it
up?
is it the true IMAX where it's like the really steep seating and all that? Is that the one down by Navy Pier you were at?
That's
Yeah.
that's where you live.
That's the best one. These other
Yeah.
BS ones are kind of like,
That's where Brandman stays. So yeah, that's him.
Oh,
It's like a walk. He just walks over there. Well, that's not that.
well, other
Not
than
that close.
Hank and I, we're the schleps in the middle here between all the good theaters. You guys are like
Mhm.
all near these like really nice theaters, and we got to.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
what Perp said though. So if it doesn't have James Cameron's name attached to it, I'm not watching it in 3D.
That's funny. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to watch James Cameron.
Derpy. Wait a minute. I thought this was no cult zone. Not tonight. The cult
Not-
zone. Let's go. Always.
Uh oh.
Oh,
Derpy's after us.
That's awesome.
The other one, like, oh, when worlds collide.
All right, let's do
Um,
this.
Trust.
yeah.
Yeah, don't cross the streams. I need to make that an audio clip.
This is exactly what we
Don't
need.
cross the streams.
All right,
All
since
right.
you're leading us to this discussion, let's do this. There we go.
Okay. All right. So before we go, we'll just do what we kind of usually do: some of the good stuff, some of the bad stuff, and then we'll do our Spoiler King ratings at the end, which is just a now, later, never, and then that's it. So yeah, I'll intro. I'll shoot it down to you guys. You guys can shout out your channel and stuff like that. Anything going on, and then we'll get right into it. Then you got a synopsis.
Before we go on, I just got to say this. Hey, Brandon, how tight is that shirt, man? Why you gotta show all the muscles? Why you gotta show all the muscles back, man?
Because I'm that dude.
I'm him.
You should just put the camera a little bit lower, cut your face off, just so it's all like midsection.
Just abs and pecs.
Oh, looking like Black Captain America, looking like Falcon. Like that's what.
No, you ever seen? I'm sure all you guys seen Step Brothers, right? When the other brother, the one that's an asshole, that's played by Adam.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott. No, Adam Scott plays the asshole brother. He goes up in the treehouse. He goes, I haven't had a card in 15 years, and he pulls it up, and it's obviously not him. It's just like, I think me and Brandon need to do that. I'm like, yeah, man, I got no, and then rip it is just like Brandon's abs.
Funny.
That'd be hilarious.
You have to do a little pre-filming there.
Oh yeah, and it's all glistening. They're all glistening and shit. Just
he's oiled down with the what is it?
Like he just
coconut. What was that? That Saturday Night Live skit?
Oh my god!
With
the baby, not the baby
the guy from the Neville Brothers. He's like, I love to put the oil on my arms, and he was all super oiled up.
Yeah, I forgot what to use, but yeah. Oh man! All right, let's get this train rolling, man.
Sorry,
let's hang out. All right, let's get it going. All right, welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is King Kramer with Brian the Grizzly, Brandman Brandon, and look what we have down here. We have Dane and JR, the Cult Lords. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Man.
Where's the camera?
Thanks for joining us.
It was fun to see Ant-Man 3. I remember
3
again.
Yeah, with you guys in Naperville on Saturday, and then it was probably even more fun just hanging out with you afterwards. And then our day couldn't end without running into Brian at the comic book store.
All right, and I can see what he bought up there,
right behind
him.
That
there
Deadpool.
Yeah. Deadpool.
I was like, I knew I had to go back and go grab that. And
That's
so funny that
hilarious.
my wife was like, "You said you would be 5 minutes." I was like, "Yeah, my bad." Start buying more comics.
When I walk by the car, I'm like 2 hours. And she's like, "No, didn't do this," but that was what the face she gave me.
Yeah, you know what she meant. That's funny.
That's funny.
Oh man. So we got the Cold Lords here. We're gonna talk about Ant-Man and the Quantumania. So real quick, why don't you guys give a shout out to your channel where everyone can find you guys at?
You want to do it, Dan?
Oh, I'm not usually the guy who gives this kind of info out. Hey, we are on YouTube under Cult Lords.
Yeah.
And do a lot of movies, occasionally music stuff. We're starting on that. We do zombie explorations.
Episode reviews. Right now we're doing Last of Us. But come
House
a
of
couple
Dragon.
weeks, we're going to be doing The Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
Episode reviews. So
Excited for that.
we're very excited about that.
We're also super excited about Velma. This guy's all over that.
We
this
are.
show.
Wow.
We just
You and
ordered our
only
matching
you, huh?
Velma t-shirts. We're gonna cosplay as Velma at CT.
Yeah,
Both of you guys are gonna be Velma.
Yes.
that would be hilarious.
So,
Oh my god!
No,
I want to know how much hate
Yeah.
you get.
Oh yeah.
I would just sit back and just watch. Like, this will be
you know,
horrible.
we'd be really, really popular if we both did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. You get a lot of people coming to you for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can I get my photo with
that's
these
hilarious.
idiots?
Yep.
Yeah.
But thanks for having us, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. We love having you guys on. But so we're gonna talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the third one of its of the series and the official start of Phase 5 in the MCU. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff we liked, some of our dislikes, and at the end give our Spoiler Kings ratings. So we'll shoot it down to the co-lords down there. Give us a few things that you guys liked about the show or the movie.
Well, he liked it probably about 2 full points higher than I liked it. So go ahead.
It's like 20% higher than yours.
Yes.
I was high marks on this one. Now, I didn't read the comic, so I really did not know anything about Kang. So I think that's where everything falls off. If you read the comic, and Brian, I know you're a big comic guy, that I think that really was a disappointment from that standpoint, and that how they portrayed it. But I thought it was really good. I mean, my only takeaway was that there was a little too much family interchange going on in the sense that it distracted from the rest of the action of the movie.
You didn't like the whole "Welcome Back, Kotter" song, and
at the beginning, yes, I didn't like the way they kind of kept repeating things, you know. And, Mom, CGI was great. I thought again, I forgot his name. The actor who plays Kang did an outstanding job. I mean, he
Jonathan Majors.
He got the highs and the lows. I mean, he was definitely like Two-Face in the sense that what was that creature from Thundar the Barbarian? His face would turn. He was like, really, hi, I'm a nice guy, and I'm going to kill you.
Right.
You know? So that was all high marks from that standpoint.
There was also a He-Man action figure that had multiple faces that would turn like that. Kind of looked like Kang too. I can't think of his name, but I like the movie. I think when we did our review, there was 5 of us, and I had the lowest score, but it was still a good score. It was still, I liked it. The only thing that, like for me, and that was disappointing is I didn't feel that Kang was as menacing as he could be in this. Right? I was telling Brian that I feared Thanos more than I feared Kang, you know, in the Avengers movies. And you know, and maybe that's kind of what it makes Kang so scary, is because, you know, he's kind of more soft-spoken and more calculated about what he's doing. You know, he tries to be a friend to you, befriend you, like he did with Janet when she was originally in the quantum realm, and then that friendship that they thought they were having fell apart, you know, and then she realized how dangerous Kang was and that Kang couldn't be trusted, right? So I just didn't think he was as menacing as he could be. And but you know, I did like how it ended. I did like the end credit scenes where, you know, it featured, you know,
the Council of Kangs,
Kang, and you know, and then Frederick Douglass Kane at the end in the Loki skit there, you know. But and so that's really interesting because I think they're setting up Loki season 2 with that. And I liked Loki, so I'm anxious to see where that goes. So there was a lot of things I liked. Once again, if I was just going to say there was a downside, is I thought Kang could have been a little bit more menacing.
He needed to rip some guy's arm off.
Yeah.
Rip somebody in half.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. I mean, he definitely had the power to do that, but it seemed like he was holding back.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Before we go to Brandon, Perp came in and said, "Feel like Kang has been very well built up and intimidating a man that could just destroy a universe without the gauntlet is crazy." Yeah. He's like, oh, I don't need that glove. I just need my magic chair and my magic suit.
He needs the chair
and the brain. Yeah. That's the other thing about Kang.
He's smart. So, but cool. Brandon, what are some things you liked?
I liked that we got more exploration of the quantum realm after all this time. Mm-hmm. We kind of gotten teasers of that throughout, seen more and more of it with each Ant-Man movie. It was nice to really do a deep dive with it. This was, as far as I'm concerned, this was very much the Jonathan Majors show. He was probably my favorite thing about the movie. I really loved what he brought to Kang. I really liked his subtlety. I I know you guys, Cult Lords, touched on this. I kind of liked how soft spoken he was when you take into account that this is a guy who's been through multiple forms of time and space, has killed multiple Avengers, so his subtlety, kind of made sense. This was almost like just another day for him, which I thought was cool. The acting all across the board, I thought was pretty decent. We know what to expect from Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer. So I thought they all did a great job, kind of slipping back into the roles. It was nice to kind of see things kind of turn around for the positive at this point in Scott Lang's life. I like the opening montage. I thought was pretty amusing. So I liked the initial tone that the movie set, and I'd say those were my high points. The Quantum Realm, if you don't mind an overabundance of CGI, it was cool. 3D or IMAX 3D or otherwise, it was really cool to look at. It was kind of like looking at a kaleidoscope.
It was. That's a kaleidoscope. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say those were the things that I liked the most about it.
Okay. What you got, Brian?
All right. So Kang is amazing to me because I think what the thing that they try to make everyone understand is he's a man. So he's a man and he's killed so many people that it's just whatever to him. It's just like, whatever. You're just the next step in my conquering of everything. Everything I touch, I'm going to conquer. And it was almost like he was shaking when he's talking to people. He's trying his best not to snap their neck. Like he's so powerful. He's trying to hold back. And that's what I kept on getting from him. And I feel like because he's going to come up back with the Beyonder, the powers of the Beyonder, that he is going to, and that's what happened. He's not going away. So we'll get into that later, but he's not going away. He's going to come back with the powers of the Beyonder, the Beyondverse. So it kind of gives him a level to go up. So if he was all power, just all everything, and then he comes back with that power, it wasn't going to be the same. I think watching Scott Lang, Paul Rudd did a great job. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the storytelling. I just wish that we would have someone else like what's his friend?
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena should have been the narrator.
Yeah, where was he at?
He should have been a narrator. It would have been a much more Ant-Man feel. That would have been a lot better. I think we didn't get much of Evangeline Lilly.
No, not at all.
I mean, we could have had a lot more of her. She could have been, she saved the day, but she had like 5 lines.
Right.
Like me and her, the difference between me and her is that she had 5 more lines than me. That was it. It was crazy. Like for someone who was such a central character in the second one, for that was really weird. Cassie is not my cup of tea. I did not like her at all.
Yeah.
Kathy Noonan that's just not. And I like her a lot because like I tell you, I'm a Supernatural fan. I'm a Supernatural fan. Like every episode like 15 times. Like I know I can recite lines.
Is that where that actress is from?
That's the first time I saw her. So
okay.
Supernatural. I think
she's
it was
already young.
11.
She must be super young on Supernatural.
She was like 16. Claire's like 16 during that time. So, but I just didn't like her as Cassie Lang. It didn't fit to me. Her personality didn't fit in with that family. I think that there's a few plot points that just didn't make sense. The whole thing with Michelle Pfeiffer holding back some of her information just didn't make sense. Why are you doing that? Like
this whole thing happened because she wouldn't tell anybody about the quantum realm.
Exactly. Right? All she had to do was say to Hank Pym, who was one of the top 5 strongest, most genius people in the world ever in all Marvel. Just tell your husband what's going on, and all this is not a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense what was going on. And then I would have loved to see Hank Pym have a suit in the quantum realm, and him to be the Ant-Man. When he came in with all the ants, for him to be the dude and him to sacrifice, because it brings up the risk value. Like it just kind of ups the game if someone dies over it, and he's the perfect person to die because he's already been through it.
Yep.
He's done everything. He sacrificed himself for his wife. He sacrificed himself for his new granddaughter, the person she sees as that's her grandfather. Those things I just feel like we're missing. But overall, I still enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the journey we went on. I just felt like it just has some holes in it throughout.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas probably was like, "Hey, I would like to be in the next movie, so don't kill me, please."
Well, no, I
He
just saw
wasn't
an
in this
interview with him that said he would love to do one more Ant-Man movie as long as they killed him.
Well, that's what I meant, and they probably were like, "Please don't kill me this movie, next one."
Yeah.
He said he wants to die, and that's like that's an actor thing. I think where there's like, cool. Can I die in this movie? They're like, no, I have like a 5-film franchise. Like Harrison Ford constantly wanted to die as Han Solo. Like, can I die in the next one?
He finally did.
Well, he finally did it, but this is like, does it matter anymore? Yeah, I know. But I think like every actor wants that death scene so they can like ham it up and be like.
If I'm dying just like Pee Wee Herman and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like Brandon said.
That's what I said yesterday.
Oh,
ah, oh,
Yeah.
ooh, ah.
5 minutes. 5 minutes later, you're still like Yeah. That would be funny. I think a lot of people are going to die during the King Dice movie. Maybe.
No, definitely billions, trillions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he means like I don't know if you mean like some of the actual characters or just like people. Like, well, I'm assuming a lot of incursions or whatever they're calling it are going to happen. So
different variants of the same people could die. You can kill all those off. You can kill a lot of X-Men off, even though a lot of them are going to end up in Battle World. But you can kill anyone who you have, rights to. Kill them all off during this time.
Yeah. It'd be a perfect ending. Like, bring back all the Fox X-Men and all you guys are going to die. So just so you know, because we're getting ready for the real X-Men that is going to come into the MCU. But some of the things I liked, like you guys said, it looked gorgeous. It looked really, really cool. The volume screen's a whole nother conversation, but I thought the CGI was pretty cool. I liked Jonathan Majors was just amazing. I think he's the one that made this film like serious. Every time Ant-Man was on there, he was either funny or
getting the crap beat out of him.
That too, but also like kind of like not ignorant, but like stupid almost. I'm like, dude, you know better. Like to
treat him like Hulk.
Yeah, like almost kind of like you're a smart guy. You're like I think an engineer or something like that. Like he's
engineer.
Yeah. So and he just like kind of did some like stupid things, but the one thing I like
to get his daughter back, so he might not be thinking that rationally.
Yeah, I mean that I didn't mind. Like the trailers really made it seem like Kang offered him to go back in time and spend time with his daughter growing up, which I'm like, that's kind of like I get it, but it's kind of a really weak plot point, because I mean she's not dead, she's still here,
right?
And she's still young enough where you can enjoy the rest of her life. You miss 5 years. I'm like, it sucks. I know it sucks, but it could be worse, But I like that they didn't go that route. They went the route where King asked him the questions like, "Oh, I can send you back and we can fix it all." He's like, "No, F off," And I'm like, okay, cool. You're not that stupid, But then obviously, he had to do certain things to protect his daughter. But even all the way at the end, the whole time he's like, we made a promise, or you promised, and you. I was like, dude, really? Like, he's killing everybody.
I think that was just a distraction.
Was it? Yeah, it could have been
there.
Yeah.
But that's why I want him to come out in his Ant-Man suit, the original. Like, can you imagine
the old school one?
The old school Ant-Man suit. How cool that would have looked for Michael Douglas and him just killing people left and right. And then he goes against Kang and he dies because of that. But he sacrifices himself in order for his family to live. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been cool because then, like, how he kept the car on his keychain, I think, or something like that. Like, if he kept that old school, the original suit on there, I think that would have been pretty cool. Although, and they kind of gave a really weak explanation of why the ants were so smart, because it was like such a major plot point, and they literally talked about it like 5 seconds in the beginning, and then another like 10 seconds right before the ending.
I was like, into the quantum realm. And they've been here for billions of years.
Yeah,
what?
They're super smart. I was like, that's a thing.
They've evolved.
They built their own society down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so but even before that, even on when they were back on Earth, I guess not the quantum realm, like they started getting smart. They started building their own tech in the ant farm.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but it's like it's a plot, kind of a plot hole for me. It was like they're just super smart because you can talk to them. I don't know.
Exactly.
Why are they smart in the first place? So but
and Brian, there was one other kind of sub story that was going on that made me think over the weekend about the movie. I was thinking about the movie, but I was thinking about Scott Lang and how during the Avengers Endgame, he played a huge role for Earth to be saved. And now he's probably the 10th favorite Avenger, right? And like some people don't recognize him. Some people call him Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Some people do recognize him. I mean, he had a fan club that he was reading to. But like, if you did all of that and helped save the world, and everybody remembers Iron Man, everybody remembers Captain America and Thor, and now there's nothing for you to really do except go on a book tour. He's kind of like in a midlife crisis about like, what does he want to do or what does he need to do to keep active? And and he tries to convince himself, hey, I've got a good life. As he's walking down the street, I got my wife,
right?
She's awesome. Got my daughter, she's awesome. But there's still something in him missing, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, did you feel that way too, or is that me just reading into this?
So, for me personally, I feel like Scott is the one character that didn't have much development at all.
Mm-hmm.
That he was a hero. In game, he was a straight up hero. And what Cassie was pointing out to him is that what's her name? Hope is saving the world with the Pym particle. She is creating food. She is giving people homes from the blip. She's doing all this stuff, right? Hank is still doing his tech, doing the crazy things, right? Even Cassie is running around trying to save people, realizing that's who I am. We are a family of heroes. And Scott is still stuck in that whole mind frame that I'm just a dude just trying to be a father, right?
Right.
Not realizing when you're a hero, you might mean more. You might have to do more. And he doesn't want that. So to me, it's like he never became that hero. He never had that evolution and understanding to the Iron Man, arc. He never had that. And he doesn't understand. Mm-hmm. He's the least heroic person in all those people, all the heroes. Like he just is a dude. And it felt that way. Even when you see, it doesn't matter if he has powers or not, because you look at Hawkeye. You look at Captain America. They don't have powers, but they have a heroic side to them. It wasn't full of selfish. I felt like Scott Lang was selfish, self-centered, and never really cared about anyone except for Cassie. And you see that in his development. And I felt like that was part of it too. Mm-hmm. But is that part of him going through a midlife crisis and realizing, I've been to jail, I haven't got anything out of it? Possibly. But I felt like that was a really big problem with his heroic arc. Like, it's a huge issue for me because he's not a hero.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a dude with suit, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think, Brandon?
I think that kind of went hand in hand with with kind of like what kind of was partially the driving force of the movie. Him trying to make up for lost time with Cassie when Thanos happened and he was stuck in the quantum realm. So I'm not. I definitely agree on one hand, but at the same time, I kind of understood why they, put his relationship with Cassie at the forefront, because I think that's something that's been always at the forefront of the Ant-Man trilogy, is his relationship with Cassie. So I didn't think too much of it at the time. I just kind of took it as a given, just kind of considering his relationship with Cassie that we've seen up until this point, and how there's a strain on it with him losing those 5 years, and her activism and being jailed and that sort of thing. So the way they kind of jumped into that, I kind of rolled with it.
Yeah. So here we got Perp said, I would say Scott's heroicness, I can't pronounce it, comes from him being a father doing whatever it takes to make sure his daughter is safe. That's always been his first priority over anything, which was kind of like what Brian was saying. It's like him being a hero is directly tied to him being a father, which I get it. It's a good motivation, but then it's also like Spider-Man kind of thing. It's like he has to pick between Mary Jane and being Spider-Man. He always is going to save Mary Jane. But when it comes down to like, hey, let's go hang out and have lunch. And then there's a robbery. He's like, well, hey, I got to go handle that shit. It's like, yeah, you could do that. You could be that person with the person you love, but also like
Iron Man.
You got to go. Yeah.
Iron Man is the perfect example when he wanted to be for his daughter. But at the end of the day, he's still a hero. He's still, and
Hawkeye's got a family and kids, and
at the end of the day, he's still.
But at the end of the day, he's like, you go celebrate Christmas. I've got something important I've got to do, right?
Yeah,
and I'll try to make Christmas on time, but
instead, Scott wrote a book about his experience, and it's like, and try to profit off of it. And I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah, with like little one-liners and stuff. This one I definitely agree with. Purposes. We should have definitely got a more story between Hope and Janet. I think that would have been a missed opportunity, and they cut out the freedom fighter storyline completely. The Hope and Janet would have been cool because you got to remember, like, Scott's not the only parent in this group. You know what I mean? Like, Janet. Obviously Hope and Janet have been apart. Same thing that happened with Scott and Cassie, with them being apart for 5 years. Well, Hope and Janet been apart for decades at this point. Isn't it like 30 years or something like that?
Yeah.
So So I think that would have been interesting.
On the stream, actually said that on Saturday night, he was like, it would have been better if they would have split it up like it was like Hope and Cassie, and then Scott and Janet. So like. The parents are on one side, and then the kids on the other side, and them having to, and how that changes the whole dynamic. So how the parents thinking and how the kids are thinking and how they're dealing with stuff. So I thought that would have been interesting. So
because I can see I can see Hope and Cassie understanding. They're like, yeah, but we get it because you weren't here. You weren't here, just like you weren't there. You know what I mean? Like they can blame their parents a little bit, so they would be a little even like I think Hope should have played way more of a bigger role in this one.
Exactly, I agree. And Janet should have said more, but they should have been focused more on them. The whole inside Scott's mind, I didn't necessarily like. I thought they could did without that. And I wanted more Hank. I would have been happy with a 20 minute longer movie instead of something that fluff in the middle.
Yeah. The pacing. So that was one of the issues I had with it was the pacing. Like I wanted the first act was okay. I'm like, okay, it kind of set up things or whatever, but that seemed a little rushed, but I didn't mind it because the second act was really big. I'm like, okay, but then the third act was so quick. I was like, either make it longer or cut a little bit from that middle, but I would have been okay if this, excuse me, if this would have been 2.5 hours, that would have been perfect. I thought like another 20, 25 minutes.
But honestly, I got to remember in that middle, I did go like this a couple times. I went.
I did one time.
Yeah.
I got up to use the restroom at that point just so I could walk around, and then came back to the theater.
Yeah. There's just a little too much filler in the middle where like you could have saved that to the end and had this really big epic like battle. And I think who was I was hearing talk about it when they were saying like they did Kurt Douglas wrong. It was like because you
it's not in this movie.
Well, that not only that, it was like he also was like he's an older actor on a green screen on the volume screen and stuff like that. So a lot of times, like after going back and thinking about it, I was like, yeah, he seemed very like, do I look here? Where am I looking? Like, where's his eyes? Like
I could see that.
Yeah, and I'm like that kind of like was it? And I feel like especially like an actor like Kurt Douglas who never really did.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. Sorry.
That's why I said Kirk wasn't in this movie, so they did him wrong.
Yeah, wrong Douglas. Michael Douglas.
Yeah,
him. Like he never did like green screen kind of ish movies before this. You know, that I can think of. You know, like he was always acting. You know, like no CGI kind of stuff. But
yeah, I agree.
I would have liked to see him in the old suit. I think that would have been cool. And him like riding in on an ant. But
I thought the scene was good. The scene would have been better with him in the Ant-Man suit, like in his old suit. That just would have been very cool because we already in the world that we jumped right to Scott Lang and jumped over Hank Pym, so we never got to pay off that superhero of Hank Pym. So to see him one time as a superhero, like as that dude, would have been very awesome.
And it would have brought things full circle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That would have been nice. That would have been nice. Because also, like, it was I think they did a good job with.
I think Brian Man's like holding his frames just to show off the guns.
What?
I can't put the shirt on like Brandon, but so I guess gotta pretend.
Every time there's a freeze, it's like right here. Like, shit,
oh man.
So your audio is good, but your video keeps like freezing every so often. Every time it's like in a pose, like
which is weird.
He's like, let me freeze this right here.
Well, per se, I think they did a good job with Hank's character, especially with the ants, and made him being the OG Ant-Man was kind of they did it, but they didn't. They should have went full in on it.
Went all the way in.
They should have went in on it, but it was cool. I mean, he kind of just walked up, and then all the ants just ran around him. You're like, eh. So real quick, what do you guys think about the ants kind of quote unquote defeating Kang? I hear a lot of people, so many people talking crap on social media about that. They're like, oh, here's Kang the Conqueror that got beat up by some ants.
Well, but I mean, I thought it was almost sweet justice. Here's a guy that all these duplicates, and then you got basically a giant army of duplicates beat him down. I mean, it was like you can just keep. He put that force shield up, and they just kept going in there, and then MODOK showed up and broke it, and then they just kind of overwhelmed him. So I mean, I think the next time he'd definitely be more prepared.
But I think the next time he'll turn into a foot. He'll turn into a giant foot.
Yeah.
Step on everybody.
He wasn't expecting the onslaught of duplicates. Let's put it that way. So
yeah. What were you, Brandon? What were you thinking about all the ants running in?
I was okay with it. They needed to find a way for the ants to factor into the plot. I thought the way they handled that was fine. Obviously this isn't the end of Kang with all the variants that we see. This was just one of many, so it wasn't anything that I was terribly bothered by.
Yeah. That's why like Perp said they didn't defeat. I was like, they defeated him because people were like, oh, he got his butt whipped by some ants. I was like, they just trampled him. Yeah, and people forget that MODOK also helped, which we're gonna get into MODOK in a second. But yeah, Ant-Man still ended up getting his ass whooped. So I don't know what people were talking about. Yeah, I mean, like, man. Mike, is that the variant we're gonna see? Is that the Creed variant of Kang? Because damn, that man just whooped him.
I'm telling you, man, he's gonna be the main one still. He's not going. That's gonna be the main variant.
He's not gone. He's not gone.
Yeah. But I thought it was kind of cool. It reminded me very much right then and there was the Ewoks, defeating the Empire. Like that was like, I'm like, oh cool. Like I got a lot of Star Wars kind of stuff, which I hear that a lot. And very Rick and Morty. I think one of our fans on our Facebook group said something along those lines. He goes, oh, did you catch that like Rick and Morty kind of scene? I was like, you mean like half of the movie? Because those very much.
I said that I thought the quantum realm reminded me of John Carter from Mars a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I can see something like that. But yeah, we had like stuff like that. I think that it took from, which I didn't mind. Because also like Rick and Morty took from a lot of comic books. Like the whole what was it the because you have the temple or not the King, what are they called? Council of King. You also have like the Council of Ricks, in Rick and Morty. You have the same thing, and then you have the main one that's better than the rest, kind of stuff like that. So I just think I don't know. I was kind of expecting at one point to see like a Rick Ant-Man, like
Right on
just
there.
a little drool on the side at the with the head moving. They're all splitting up.
Hey Tank, did you notice in our movie review that we put out today with you guys? Did you notice Dana cut in comic panels throughout the thing and showed the Council of Kings in that?
Yes.
Did you see that?
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I know you put some clips of like movie stills and stuff like that.
Yeah, we
was
did
like,
that. He did a good job finding a lot of Kang panels from comics.
Nice.
And one was the Council of Kings towards the end that he put up, which was I'd never seen that panel, so it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's gonna be cool because you can go against the Council of Reeds when that's the thing. Right. That's what you're gonna have that against that. So that's gonna be awesome.
You could see in the movie they were obviously trying to pay homage to the comics. That final scene where they showed the entire Kang Council and
that everyone was complaining about, and they just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what people were complaining about. There was nothing wrong with any of that. It was interesting. So
I didn't have a problem with the ants. I just thought they could have done more with it, but I thought all the stuff was fine. I just feel like they just didn't go all the way. They should have just went all the way with a lot of these things. They should have given us more.
Is this the one? That one of them? You have him. He was in there, and then you have the main king. Then you have someone in the background, all the crazy stuff, and then obviously Franklin Richards, Iron Lad there. Which I don't think they're going to go that route, but you never know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think they will.
But yeah, I remember seeing this one. That's cool. Yeah, they definitely tried paying homage to it. I feel like there might have been. I want that scene again so I could rewatch it in slow mo and break down all the little things in it. Yeah, because there's one that pops up and then he bows down right away, and I'm like, oh, what? And then there's the one losing his mind up top. I'm like, he's screaming and slapping the guy next to him. Like, what? Like, it's so a lot. And then you get the Scroll King at the very end before it cuts away, which was cool. So obviously spoilers who's doing that, but yeah,
I thought that was all cool though. Yeah, exactly what purpose.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna get the Council of Reed of the Richards.
I mean, we talked about that, and
we all kill each other.
And the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness, whatever. We talked about that. We're gonna get the Council of Reeds, so that's what you expect. But them giving us that Council of Kings was such a good job. And us understand what they're doing. It took all of them to try to beat Kang the Conqueror. And now Kang, and we go to the end of that movie when Kang blips away and he's going into, I believe, the Beyond verse.
Mm-hmm.
And when he comes back, he's going to kill all of them. So understand how big the Council of Kang was, right? And he's going to come back and he's going to murder all of them. That's what, and seeing all those, so you understand the numbers, the sheer numbers, and the power that you're going to get, and really, it's going to be left with just the top 5.
Yeah,
you're gonna have Ramatut, you're gonna have Immortus, you're gonna have
I think the other one, the one with the silver, the one with the silver, because we were like, who is that one? I think that was a Warlord. I think I looked it up. I guess that was like a version of King, I guess. But the only issue is like King is such a Fantastic Four kind of person, but it's kind of weird seeing him so involved.
I think that's the only thing you're going to see him. The only way to defeat him is to introduce the Fantastic Four. I feel like that's what's going to happen. You cannot defeat him without it. So he's going to
show up.
I believe Kang is going. We all know he's going to win. Kang Dynasty. Kang is going to win. The only way to defeat him is that movie between those two movies is to introduce the Fantastic Four, and we need Victor Von Doom because he's going to create Battle World. So I think that's how the storyline is going to go.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I can see King forming an alliance with Scarlet Witch. I can see King forming an alliance with Dr. Doom if they introduce him, like right at the end.
But Dr. Doom doesn't play well with others. So I think that's what the
problem but that's why like he betrays them and he becomes the big baddie. I don't know.
This is something I said on the stream too. Is so I think Kang wrote the Darkhold, and all the stuff about Scarlet Witch is just lies that he was doing, that he was saying. So because he knows that she's the one who might be powerful enough to defeat him. So what he's doing, he's trying to put all the blame on her, all the focus on her. She's the one. She's the problem. So you get rid of her in every multiverse. You don't have to worry about Wanda, who is unbelievably powerful and can warp people's minds. But he's the one who put it in motion. He's the one that wrote the Darkhold. That's why the Darkhold has nothing to do with Kang or Ramatut or any of those other things that that was using all these magic years before, because he doesn't want to focus on him. I think that
I heard that theory.
We can see that in what's her name? What's that other show that we're gonna get? Agatha. We'll probably get in there.
Agatha Harkness.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about that one. I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with that one. You did initially when I heard Agatha, I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're making a show about her. Catherine Hahne's great on it. And then it took kind of a while for it to sink in. I'm like, you know what? This is kind of definitely more obscure. Someone you wouldn't expect them to make a show out of, but I think they must be doing it for a reason. If in terms to advance, especially with this introductory movie of Phase 5 essentially being one big trailer for Kang. So yeah, I think they're doing the Agatha show for a. I think there's a good reason behind it.
It's gonna be a big setup.
The narrative, setup.
Yeah. I think. Well, yeah. So one more thing before we start ending it. Was MODOK. Everyone thought you either love him,
everyone's favorite,
or you hate him. Man, there's no one that says like, oh well, he was okay. It's either like he was the stupidest thing in this movie, or he was so goofy and funny that it fit an Ant-Man movie. I don't know. I'm kind of like more leaning towards that. Like I had fun with it. The character's stupid in the comic books anyway. It was like it's a giant floating genius head. I was like, it's so silly. But that was just me. Well, Cold Lords, what do you guys think about MODOK?
I actually, if he had never taken the mask off, I thought that would have been cool the entire time. But because it was like this like blown out piece of Darren's face, that was just ridiculous. I mean, they were obviously going for the laughs there, and I think it detracted, to tell you the truth. They needed to bring they throwing a bone to that actor. Like, oh well, we killed you off. Let's bring you back. Because in the comic, it's not the same guy, right?
No, it's a completely
they were just trying to like close off a line that I guess they figured they needed to do it, but
when he had his face shield down, whatever that was, it looked better than when he could see his face.
Right?
So, I agree. But I guess. A lot of these Marvel movies, they want some comic relief, and they probably knew that would get some laughs the way he would keep showing up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I don't know.
He was like the herpes or something like that, right?
All right.
Wait. Did I say that out loud? No.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. I don't know. It was interesting enough. Perp said, never was a fan of MODOK. He was never an interesting character to me. Yeah, he was always this kind of like a side character to everything. Like he's the guy they beat up on when in between the big guys, in between the Dooms and the Thanos and the Kings. Like, oh, let's go beat up on MODOK. So, but it was funny enough. So real quick before we get Brandon and Brian's thoughts on it, this one kind of had me like. This one kind of had me funny when we saw it in the theater. It's like. You see just like MODOK's little butt cheeks and arms, but his head is still kind of big.
I knew that was going to get memed to crap.
It looks like a scene at a bachelor party, when the guy falls in the convertible. They both kiss his butt right there. They're like getting ready.
Yeah. But it's so weird. It's like, and then the one comment that I liked the best was somebody took time away from their family, got paid to make like MODOK's butt CGI.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. It is very, very goofy, and I feel like you got to go goofy with this character because there's no way, even if you try to make him serious and try to make him menacing or try to make him like a real evil bad guy, he still looks like MODOK. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's a giant face, floating face with tiny arms. So
yeah, but it was probably cool in the comic books.
Yeah,
early 70s, right? Late 60s when he made his debut.
Yeah, it was goofy. I mean, there's a stretch of comic books, both DC and Marvel, where they went on some drugs.
Ridiculous.
They were on some drugs when they made some characters, and MODOK got to be one of those.
Can you imagine? Like, can you imagine? We should have a character whose face is huge.
Yeah,
but arms are really small.
Yeah,
well, arms, legs.
Yeah,
I can see that conversation happening.
Get over there.
I will get you, but my arms are too long or too short. This is poorly planned out.
And meanwhile, like Stan Lee's in the corner, like Excelsior, fucking high out of his mind in the background.
Yeah, you guys are making a social statement for those little people out there with the big heads.
A big head. Oh, jeez. No, not at all.
Easy boy cherry.
I bet you that's what you did think too. But Brandon, what you think about MODOK? How'd you like him in the movie?
I thought he was fine. That character, like you said, Tank, has always been goofy in the comics, and when they have tried to go more serious with him, it very seldom works. So I like that they embrace the ridiculous side of him. When I get why they made MODOK Darren Cross, just to kind of, like we were saying, wrap things up with that character arc. So I didn't necessarily mind that. I would have liked to. I wish they didn't do away with the character. Marvel still has that unfortunate habit of treating a lot of villains as one-offs, which I kind of wish they'd stop doing. I was fine with the way he looked. It definitely looked pretty hilarious with like Corey Stoll's like just enlarged face. So that was kind of that was hilarious to me.
This guy looks badass on the right or on the left.
Yeah,
goofy on the right. I mean,
yeah.
Oh man,
I mean, I just saw this one. Like that's good. Yeah, I mean, for me, probably one of the best death scenes in all the MCU.
Just
like, it's like the whole time because he's like, I died an Avenger. He's like, sure you did, buddy.
Sure you did. Yeah.
He's got a little hand rubbing on Scott's face. It was really goofy. It was really silly. Like that's you can't deny that it was so goofy and silly, but it kind of worked for that moment, like but it did take me out of like, hey, there's the madman about to destroy everything, and but it is what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, in this movie in a whole, the tone changed all the time. I mean, it was like, people are getting killed, and then all of a sudden it's funny, jokey, killed, funny, jokey, killed. Like they couldn't figure out where they were going with this. So, but that is a problem with the Marvel movies. They tend to do that a
lot. Yeah. And what do you think, Brian, about MODOK?
I feel like they did okay. I didn't hate MODOK, but I just thought he should have been a more vital character. Some of the releases that we got beforehand, we're talking about MODOK being the real brains behind the operation, and that he was really playing both sides, playing Scott Lang and Hank Pym on one side, and then playing Kang the Conqueror on the other. And he was the real brains behind the situation, and that he was going to be the one at the end, like, haha, I got you, and all that stuff. And I thought that would have been a better use, because once again, he's supposed to have this giant brain. He's supposed to be this smart villain. Like he's not super villain because he can't get the job done, but he's supposed to be smart. And I don't think they highlight it. They don't highlight intelligence in the MCU enough for me.
All right.
And how much super
Well,
intelligence really matters.
Maybe, Brian, that'll come with the Council of Modocs. And, we'll see. When you put all that brain power together, maybe they'll do something. So
it still wouldn't be enough.
But you do have a good point. I wonder if they cut some scenes out where he was orchestrating some of his, intelligent maneuverings or something, because they touched on it a little teeny tiny bit, and then
just went away.
Then they went away. Yeah.
And if they would have stayed with that, I thought that would have been a better story, because it would tie things in a little bit better. So much happened in this movie that just by happenstance, like, oh, we happen to find these people. We happen to have this app, instead of someone behind the scenes orchestrating the whole thing that's been down there, that knows all parties, and he's playing everybody like a chessboard. And then at the end, Kang's just so powerful that he just kills MODOK, whatever. And then I would have preferred Kang winning, but if you're going to go the route of him losing, still had MODOK be a more essential part of it. It just made no sense to me. I think MODOK should have been more of a. He should have been like, Kang didn't respect me, so I'm going to get my respect and show you what I can do. What I've been doing. This has been my plan the whole time.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
Yeah, I would like that, but I do regret we don't get to see him again. Maybe we see a variant. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe every Kang has their version of MODOK. So we'll get a bunch of those. Maybe it'll be like their Rick and Morty.
Which would be amusing to see. I'd love to see multiple MODOKs.
Yeah, but
played by different actors too. That would be funny.
Everyone's different.
Yeah. Oh, but you get Patton Oswalt because he voiced
up as King. I mean, as MODOK.
MODOK. Yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
See, anything else, guys, before we get into the final review or ratings?
Can we talk about more about the end credit scene? Did anyone like it? Did everyone like it? Because everyone was getting so much hate on it.
Is that? We haven't even talked about it.
Yeah, we were talking about Bill Murray.
Yeah.
It was so forgettable, man. It was so.
If he had showed up later and there was payoff, but it was like there was that entire scene could have been removed.
Yeah. Glorified cameo.
Yeah.
Exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. I forgot about it until you guys said it right now.
It's me and Janet, I know her, baby. Like it's like that. It's just the innuendos, but for no reason. It meant nothing because Hank didn't care. So what was the point of even doing it? Like it's just
man, he didn't get jealous. He didn't get angry. I don't know. Does Bill Murray know somebody? He's like, I really want to be in a Marvel movie, and they're like, I got you.
It's like Space Jam. Space Jam. He's like, how'd you get here? So I know the director, so he just dropped me off at the stage, and then that's just what
how he's in the news lately for not very good things.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if he had more of a role, and then when that news came out, they said, hey, let's kind of minimize this a little bit, right, and maybe cut some of his role out. So
that's a very good point.
Yeah, I could definitely see Marvel doing that, because they did a lot of reshoots right to the end, and you can really tell the reshoot parts. They were like the forced jokes. Because there's jokes that tend to go on throughout the movie that were kind of natural, and then the ones that were just like really crammed in there. Like the whole don't be a dick thing. I feel like that was
there's no
reshoot thing. There's no need for it.
Yeah, that was really out of nowhere.
Yeah. So
But back to the cutting Bill Murray out. It's kind of like in the DC universe. I hear that in the new Aquaman, they cut Amber Heard out quite a bit because of her public issues, right? So maybe they did that with Bill Murray. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I could definitely see, especially Disney doing that. 100% Disney will do something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. But just a little bit we got of him was just kind of it could have been anybody else, like just a nobody actor. It could have been like a CGI monster and it would have been exactly the same kind of ending with that part.
It wasn't like Zombieland when he shows up in that, and you're like, what? I mean, that was definitely startling. And this one, it was kind of like, all right, where's this going? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no
That's
point.
one of my favorite scenes ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he's kind of is now. He's a cameo kind of guy, but like it needs to mean something. You know what I mean? And this one didn't kind of like, I don't know, like it gave some backstory, but it didn't give any backstory that was already kind of
not known
because when was it Cassie and Scott, like they found out like all the backstory that Hank found out at the same time, but just from a different group of people. You know, they're like, oh, she's the reason why this, then this, you know, it was like the only stuff they found out was like she was banging Bill Murray, you know, sometime in those 30 years. You know, it was like
wow.
She was like, I had needs.
Maybe that's why she doesn't want to talk about the quantum realm.
Yeah.
What happened in the quantum realm stays in the quantum realm.
Yeah. Or I was gonna say something really dirty. So let me not.
Go ahead.
But yeah, no, it has something to do with the microverse.
It
used to be called.
Yeah. I wonder if she never mind.
Exactly, man. See that? Once you go down that dirty mind like route, that's it. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's other things that the post credit scenes were cool. The Victor Timely was pretty. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I think
just because
it's a lot. It's good.
Yeah,
and people don't understand that. That's Loki. They're looking at Loki. Oh, he doesn't look that menacing. Victor Timely is a huge character. If you don't know it, look it up. Look up, Google Victor Timely and see what he and how important he is. He's going to be a huge part, of Loki season 2. He's going to be a huge part going forward, even in the Council of Kings. So,
yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. But post credit season was pretty cool. I know our buddy Zach Attacks, he did his review. He did not like those post credits. He said those were 2 of the worst post credit scenes for all the MCU, which I completely disagree with.
Yeah,
but they weren't that bad. The swarm was kind of but I don't know. Anything else, guys?
Let's go ahead.
Anything we missed? Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed real quick, but
so how much did you think it made this weekend, guys?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Oh, I know how much it did, but
see, you think you cheated?
I cheat.
Probably like 104 billion or 104 million or something like that.
Okay.
Did it get to 100 million?
Mm-hmm.
It made over $120 million.
Okay.
The first weekend. So how high does it get?
And
remember that it's one of the lowest rated Marvel releases. Yeah. It's gross. Everywhere, worldwide. How high does it get?
Is it playing in China?
I believe it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
200.
But it'll make a lot. It'll make over $1 billion if it's playing in China.
Okay. What about you, Brandon?
Okay. How much it's going to make when all said and done?
Yep.
That's a tough one, especially with how much it's made at this point. 185 million, closer to 200 potentially with how it's going.
So
probably
300 in the United States, right?
Yeah.
And then it just needs to make 700 million in the rest of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And China is going to take care of 70% of that. So.
So with that in mind, probably 250 potentially.
You think it's only 250 million? Really?
It could be more, but it's getting kind of a mixed response. So sometimes that kind of weighs on box office from time to time.
Yeah, it could. Well, I'm looking at a CBR article, and they're saying it disappoints at the Chinese box office this past weekend. Yeah. So, and I know COVID's still a big thing over there as well.
Under 239. Was it 23 million? Something really low. Like 20 million in China. It's really low.
Was that low?
Yeah, 19 under $20 million. Yeah.
So 120 million in the US and 120 million in China.
All right, it's 19 million in China.
Oh, that's not tracking well at all.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
And it's only 46 opening take, 46 mil for it. So damn. But I'm there with Perp. It's gonna hit 700 somewhere. March is looking very stacked, so it's definitely gonna take it eat into their profits. Yeah, March is gonna. There's so many other movies coming out, but
every weekend. I mean,
yeah.
Cocaine Bear might knock it out from number 1 this week.
That'd be hilarious.
Is Cocaine Bear going to play in China, you guys think?
I don't think so.
It seems a little too risque for the Chinese market.
Oh, yeah. Drugs. They're like, no. No one uses drugs in China.
Cocaine Panda?
Yeah, I was going to say. That's exactly that. Cocaine Panda.
So koala. They already got syphilis, don't they? So
I'm going 800 mil. I think worldwide 800 mil.
Yeah. I mean, if Thor and Love and Thunder got, 700, 800, somewhere around there.
Exactly.
And that was by far way worse than this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Love and Thunder was pretty bad.
Yeah. So, and then the Rotten Tomatoes still is about the same when we shot the video with you guys. It's still 47 with the critics, 84 with the audience. So that's a big difference, though. Like, that's a huge difference between the audience and critics.
Why would there be such a gigantic difference? I mean, are the critics you thinking are all these serious, detailed comic book?
No, I think it's like opposite.
I thought the movie was decent. I mean, obviously, I liked it, but I'm just overall, it's like, why would you give it like a 47?
Well, that just means
so low.
That means that 47% of the critics liked it, and 63% of the critics did not like it. So that that's what that means, right? In the Rotten Tomato scores. So for them to give it a 47% collectively, I could see where critics just are probably tired of superhero movies, especially if they're real upper crust, the New Yorker kind of critic. They're like, I'm tired of the Marvel movies, right? So, I totally get it. Whereas the fans are just fans. And if you're a fan and you're going to go spend your money to see it, you're not going to go see it for your job and be a critique of it. The fans are going to like it a lot more. So,
yeah, that's what I think. So speaking of, there's one gentleman from the New York Magazine, The Vulture, said, "I'm getting bored of just typing all this up more." It looks like the filmmakers themselves were bored putting it on screen. So I don't know. One person
don't understand
we're all tired of this.
Yeah,
they don't understand what comic book movies are and what it is for a comic book, the allure. And I think they're just talking like the Oscars. They always think comic book movies aren't real acting. These aren't real good movies. This is not.
Right.
Does it deserve the genre or the stage it has? I think that's where you're getting this from. I think we're gonna have a great MCU movie, and they're gonna still give it a 60 on the Rotten Tomatoes because it's not doesn't have the drama that they wanted to have. Yet I get the Fablemans, and I get the other crap that they put out, and they said it's 100%. I'm like, it's the worst thing. Tar. Tar.
Tar. Or I don't know if you guys have seen Licorice Pizza yet. I know we were talking about it the other day.
You dared us, and we still
not yet.
Yes, it is.
I am going to see Tar this weekend, though. By the way,
it's oh god, man, bring a pillow.
Yeah, is that the cry into?
Oh, the sleep.
It's a sleep
drool.
Yeah, drool on. Yeah. Tar was something. Oof, boy. Even me being a music fan of like actual like classical music and all that, like musical theory and stuff, it still was like, oh my god, hard to watch at points. But all right, so yeah, critics did love Shang-Chi and No Way Home. The Batman, I think, got good ones. So I think they do like certain ones. I think when it gets too trippy, when it gets too comic booky, like this one was. I mean, this wasn't even based in the real world. This is like not even in space. This is a whole nother dimension, and we never played in that sandbox yet with the MCU. Like kind of Loki, but even Loki was still based in the world. Like he would just keep going into different times of the world. This was like a whole nother universe. So yeah, when it gets too comic booky, I think that's when the critics tend to pull away.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Like,
Yeah, there's a floating head.
None of it makes sense.
Well, you heard. I don't know if you've ever heard, but Bill Maher thinks that comic book movies are just for men who don't want to grow up from being boys. Is what he says. Yeah.
Bill Maher has his own problems.
Bill Maher got a lot of other issues.
Yeah.
He says a lot of stupid stuff, I think. But he's also from a different generation, man. It's just, I don't know.
Well, but he was from a generation that grew up with comics. I just don't think he read comics as a kid.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Grew up in a serious family.
Yeah.
No comics for you.
They talk politics 24/7 as soon as you're born.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our ratings. And then, so we do things a little bit different. We do it nice and simple here at Spoiler Kings. Now, later, never. Now means you got to go check it. It's worth seeing before anything gets spoiled. Later means you can wait till it's on streaming. You can wait till you're doing the dishes and throw it on your phone and watch it. And it never means skip it. Do not kill any brain cells. So with that being said, we'll shoot it to the Cult Lords. What are you guys giving this one?
Well, I already know he's.
I will say now.
Okay.
And I would.
You got to see it in the big screen. I mean,
Yeah.
and you can see it on the small screen too. But this is the, I thought it was a great movie. You want to get all the CGI in there. It had enough emotional story impact and everything. You want to go in now, and especially if you can get the audience experience.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm hedging between now or later, but I'll go with now. I'll go see it now.
See it now. Brandon, what are you putting this one at, man?
I could probably give it a now, especially if you've been following all the MCU up until this point, and if you want to meet the new big bad Kang, go ahead and give it a watch. Jonathan Majors does really make this very much worth watching. That and the visuals, I think, and I meant to mention this earlier. One thing that did not really work for me, Catherine Newton, as much as I've always liked her, she just didn't do anything for me as Cassie Lang. I don't know if it was her act. I didn't necessarily think anything was necessarily wrong with her acting, but the writing for the character wasn't the greatest. They really should have just brought Emma Furman back, who played her in Endgame. She really sold me in like the 30 seconds of screen time. I didn't really see the point in replacing Emma Furman because if you read up on the production history, it didn't seem like there was any rhyme or reason behind it.
Yeah,
agreed.
Well, she said she found out the same way everyone else found out, was like, and here's new Cassie, and she's like, what? So that sucks.
Yeah. She just didn't land for me as Cassie, but I'd say it's an entertaining enough time. If I had to sum the movie up in one word, I'd say it's enough.
Okay.
So I'd give it a now. You'll have fun watching it at least.
Cool. Well, Brian, what you got?
I'm going to give it a now because I believe it's the beginning of Phase 5, and you really need to get to know these characters because what's about to happen. You think this is trippy? Just wait to see what's going to happen in these rest of these movies. Phase 5 and 6, Phase 6. Critics going to hate it because it's going to go super comic booky, super crazy, and really need to enjoy this now. I think this is one of those movies that people are going to enjoy more the further away it gets from it. They're gonna they look, oh, this is crazy, and then they're gonna talk about it 2 years about, man, they showed that Quantumania. We probably should have enjoyed that more when we got it, but we're expecting too much. So, but Quantumania is setting up so much more going on. So I think this is definitely a now, and you better enjoy it while you can. Because even though I had problems with it, that's just because me as someone who read the comics and reads things, But overall, this is a quality movie, And I gave it like an 8.2, So it's a quality movie. So go get it, go watch it.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna say with all you guys, I'm giving it a now too. It's fun enough, like Brandon said. The CGI was great. Everything was pretty to look at for sure. But Jonathan Majors was just like such a two-face, and you knew when it was, I think what Dane, you said that, right? Where like he's like, oh, very soft spoken and nice, and then the blue mask comes on, and he's like, and I'm gonna kill you and your family. It's like, so it was definitely he was so entertaining to watch, and he was just not only like very menacing. He could have been way worse, but like oh, and then he can just literally whoop your butt, like stomp you down to the ground and stuff like that. So that was pretty awesome. So it was fun enough. Had issues. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't the best Marvel movie, but it does not deserve a 47% like the critics are giving. Like no way near. Like the Eternals was way worse. Love and Thunder was way worse. So yeah. So, but I mean, I might change my opinion later, but as of now, after one viewing, it's a now. I think if I'm gonna watch it a couple more times, it might change, or I might like it more. I don't know, but as of right now, I'm gonna give it a now. So
it reminds me of Age of Ultron. Like the more you realize you're watching, you start saying, "Oh, this really, really mattered. Wow, this wasn't really that bad. I was giving so much hate," and then you start realizing, like, I needed this. I needed this part. This was important to the entire story. And if I didn't get that, everyone just hated Ultron, but honestly, it was important. All those things, and it paid off in Endgame. So many things did from that one movie. And I think we're gonna get into Kang Dynasty, and we're gonna realize how much it pays off.
Well, I don't know if you remember, Brian, but when Empire Strikes Back originally came out, people were disappointed at first because it didn't have a concrete ending. It didn't have a concrete ending. It didn't have, or people were upset with Darth Vader being declared as Luke's father. And then as time went on, it suddenly became everybody's favorite of the trilogy, right? So because they realized in hindsight how seminal that movie was and how important it was, and the only one that George Lucas didn't direct. So
I didn't even think about that.
He just direct.
No, he wrote it.
He wrote it.
Yeah,
because I thought that was
yeah.
But no, I thought Empire Strikes Back is like the greatest movie.
All right.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. But sometimes you like Brian, like you said, like sometimes you gotta sit back and kind of. It's better when you think about it than when you like first watch it, especially like you're on such a high from all these other movies that once you get more movies under your belt going forward, you're like, oh yeah, I did like that movie, and then you go back and watch it, again, you're like, yeah, it's cool, So I can see this doing really well once it hits the home streaming on Disney Plus. I can see it like just knocking it out of the water on Disney Plus. Yeah, especially like 4K. If they release like the IMAX 4K level thing, everyone's got a nice TV now, or mostly everybody. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Crap, even bums on the street have nice TVs these days. They're so cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But anything else, guys, before we call this episode? That's it. Yeah. Cool. So thank you, JR, Dane. Appreciate you guys coming out and watching the movie with us. That was a lot of fun. Hanging out at the bar was great, and then joining us Monday over here on the Spoiler Kings channel talking about Ant-Man. Super awesome. We got to do this a little bit more often. I think it was pretty good. Granted, we went way long. We went like an hour. So, but yeah, it's a Marvel movie. I feel like it's always. Every Marvel movie is every movie that came before it, so it's like ties in 30 movies plus this, so there's so much to talk about. But before we leave, you guys want to give a quick shout out to your channel again, where everyone can find you guys at?
Sure. Make sure to look us up. We're Cult Lords on YouTube. We put out a trailer reaction every day. We put out a movie review every week. We put out episode reviews every week. Right now we're doing Last of Us. In March, coming up soon, we'll be doing The Mandalorian. We do music stuff, top 8 lists.
Last of Us every week too.
Yeah, we're doing Last of Us right now. So yeah, we got lots of content, and if you subscribe, you'll get access to all of it. So
join the cult.
Come
join the cult.
Yeah,
become one of us.
Become one of us. We should just talk like this all the time, right?
Break out the Kool-Aid.
So, yeah, I was gonna say.
We've done that before.
So make sure you go check out Colords. Give them that subscribe. They just hit 500. Yeah, 506 now. So that's good stuff, man. You guys
We
are
just got one
really,
during the
really
show.
crushing
I
it.
think it was Perp that.
Thanks, Perp.
Thanks,
Ah.
Perp.
Hey,
There you go.
Perp knows his stuff. He's gonna be if he following you, that means you did a good job.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's an honor then. So
He watches a lot of movies too. So when you need somebody to talk to, I think 2022, I think he said like 70 something movies last year.
Oh wow.
Had them all ranked just last year in releases. So he's awesome. So thank you, Perf, for checking out the Cult Lords. But I think that is it for us here. You guys ready to talk about Last of Us?
You know I've been waiting.
I know Brian is.
Well, we just talked about it, so I'm gonna probably
head
out here, and I'm in Elmhurst right now, so I got about 40 minutes to drive to Aurora, where I live.
Yeah.
So
It's not that bad. No,
yeah.
That's bad.
Just cranks his tunes up and listen like what were you listening to a Prince song one time?
One time I was listening to Prince, and I was so into listening, I missed my exit, and before I knew it, I was almost in Indiana. And I was like, wait a second, where am I
at? Prince does that, man. It's Prince. So I get it.
Prince is my guy.
I'm a huge Prince fan. So
yeah.
You just started driving to Minnesota naturally.
You always your car just goes to Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah. Lake Minnetonka.
Feel like a magnetic
Purify myself.
Yeah.
Purify yourself.
So the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah. All right, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and everything. Appreciate Cold Lords. See you guys later. And
Thanks
see you in the comments. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk soon.
Have fun.
Yes.
Needs more zombies though in that episode.
Oh yeah.
Last of Us. He's talking Last
The Last of Us. Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Since it was done.
You're right. All right.
Cut us off. Cut us off. Damn it.
We'll watch your Last of Us episode review when you guys post it. So
sounds good.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. Later.
See ya.
All right.
I think I'm going to hang around a couple more minutes. I have a really big day tomorrow.
Yeah.
You better.
Yeah.
You better. And you better do the thing.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I can talk. I can talk for a couple more minutes before I call it a night.
Get your point.
You just want to get into it, and we'll have you go first then. All right. So let's get right into it then. All right. Welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is St. Kramer with Brian DeGrizzly and Brandman Brandon. And this week we are talking about episode 6, The Last of Us. So we're coming to the end now. That's it. A couple more episodes left. So
Brandon, more of that Last of Us. I need a little bit more.
Yeah. You gotta watch all the replays and stuff all week. Yep. All right. So Brandon, what do you think about this episode, man? How'd you like it?
Well, speaking of replays, I really, really like this episode. I watched and rewatched it several times already. I liked how it went even more into how people have been adjusting at this point in the planet with the colony that they visited. You know, Joel finally was able to meet up with Tommy. We've been waiting to see how and when that happens. That was a cool element to see how how his life has developed and changed over the course of this. Really good performance. Like, I think my standout this episode was Bella Ramsey herself.
Yeah.
This was really her. Really, like, if she never got to in the past, which she did, but this was really her episode to really shine. I think her and Pedro Pascal. This show wouldn't work as nearly as good as it does if it weren't for those two, and the and the way that they play off of each other. I liked that. This one really hooked me in from the jump. They all do, but didn't feel as depressed as I did the last 2 episodes by the time it ended.
Yeah, you didn't cry. This one was
a
tearjerker.
I was more like, oh damn it, by the time it ended.
I don't know, man. I had a tear in my eye. I was like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though it's coming.
Yeah. Is it your eyes are watery? They weren't. You weren't bawling into into your hands like some of the other episodes. Yeah. So I know you got to get going soon. So I'll just ask you right now. How'd you like the end of the episode?
I liked it. I like, you need those cliffhanger episodes when the stuff hits the fan. Sometimes something really happens. Joel's not in great shape by the time the episode ends. Once that happened, I knew they were going to cut it off there. So
yeah,
really, really waiting hand and foot until the next episode to see what ends up happening.
That's why I said, man, how you just gonna stop right there? I need some more, just a little bit, just a taste. That's all.
Those cliffhangers, man. That's how they get you.
Oh, every time. Any predictions? What do you think is gonna happen in the next episode?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to see how they're gonna dig themselves out of that situation.
Yeah, it's super, super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but yeah. I'm more just kind of waiting rather than any predictions, because I'm not sure at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the best. I think this show is a lot of taking it at face value rather than like, oh, I want to see this or this needs to happen. Like, I don't know. That's such a weird thing because usually I kind of like all the other shows are like, oh, I want to see this or I want them to do this. I think this might happen. With this, it's just like whatever you give me, I'm gonna like it kind of situation. So yeah, but yeah. Anything else that stuck out for you, Brandon?
I'd say those were my main points that kind of stood out. I liked Tommy's fiance, the character that Rutina Wesley played.
Yeah,
I thought she was great. Maria.
Yeah.
I thought Maria was great. She was another high point of the episode for sure.
Yeah.
I liked it. The pacing worked really good for me. Even the time jump. We jump ahead 3 months after the events of the last episode. I actually kind of thought that worked to this episode's advantage. I really liked how it hit the ground running.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're already in winter area, that's cold, and you meet a random husband and wife with that were just awesome. So yeah. They were great. It's just old married couple living together at the end of the world. Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. But so I know you gotta leave. So whenever you gotta leave, I wanted to get your thoughts and stuff like that before you had to take off.
Yeah. Those are definitely mine.
So whenever you gotta leave, because just go ahead and let us know.
Okay.
But you gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna dash. I'm gonna take off. So
okay.
Yeah, got some stuff to take care of tomorrow. So.
Yep.
Do well.
Getting late.
Do well.
I will.
Yep.
All right.
I'll talk to you
guys later. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Later. All right, Brian. What you think about this episode?
I'll try not to interrupt. I was like, I'm not going to interrupt him. I'll let him talk about it. Oh my God. So there's a lot of conversation, but I mean, you really saw them building relationships. The relationship between Ellie and Joel was so much. Like you could see how it was creeping along and how Joel was getting panic attacks thinking about trying to rescue this girl. And it's almost like as much as she is getting closer to him and really needing him, it's like she really needs him. Like he keeps her from being scared. He keeps her home. For her, home is when Joel's there. That's the type of relationship they have. It's the exact opposite for him. The more he's getting attached to her, the more he's having more anxiety attacks. He's having heart problems. He's getting older, but it's more about the fact that he loves this girl and he cannot stand to have something happen to her. He can't go through more heartbreak. That's what we've seen the last 5 episodes. We've seen that Joel's going through heartbreak and he keeps on failing and failing and failing, and he can't stand to see it anymore. And the way he even explained the panic attacks was so good because those as I say, like I'm a person who has dealt with that with my wife and my sisters and all that stuff, and I've seen it a lot. And the way he described it with the heart palpitations and the not being able to breathe, and how important. Like the way he explained it was just so raw, so good, and you understood why it was happening. Just that beginning part was so epic to me. I was enjoying just that part. Like the first 15 minutes was amazing. And then, even when he fell asleep and she saw he needed to sleep, and she used everything that he taught her. He was like, I checked my 6. I kept on. I got the high ground. I did everything you taught me. And you can see the relationship between like father-daughter relationship developing more and more. And Joel felt it. You see him feeling it, like, in his eyes. And it was brilliant. Ellie was so good this episode. She was so good.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to talk about the first 15 minutes. You go ahead and talk.
So real quick, we also have horror geek said a little rush, but overall episode was great. Making Joel more vulnerable was a nice change from the game. Yeah I think it just adds like what Brian said too, it just adds more depth to who he is and also what he has been through with, especially with obviously with his daughter, because now he has another young woman he needs to look after. And obviously it's almost impossible not to draw comparisons to my daughter and now this another young woman now that needs me. You know what I mean? So
it acts just like him and idolizes him. She idolizes him now. And you can see it.
Yeah. But also like she's very much like Sarah, where Sarah was constantly looking out for Joel. Like, hey, I fixed your watch because I know you loved it. Hey, make sure you eat something. Hey, make sure you go get the cake. Like, made sure, like, she was kind of almost like the wife, kind of in scenario. Like, she was the one that loved him. Like, yeah, you're my father, but I also need to look out for you because I know how you are. So, and now we're getting that with Ellie. When she was standing at the cave, with the gun being lookout. That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, oh, like. But that was, I'm looking out for you the way I know.
Sarah never would have done that, and that's what the difference between because Sarah is like as we said at the beginning, she was horrified when she saw when Joel was doing the stuff. Ellie is more like Joel, now doing all the stuff that he's had to do, because I think that we're going to start seeing, the next episode, the flashes of what happened to her, and she's had to make decisions, and she's had to have terror and things like that to who's kind of began to make her who she is. And man, it was just so good to see those things. But Ellie, she sees him as her father. Like you can start seeing it in that. I will follow you to the end of the earth. Because remember what they're talking about, in the last episode. There's a guy who's just so magnanimous, and he's just so dynamic, and you will follow him to the end of the earth. And that's exactly how Ellie sees Joel. Like, I will follow him no matter where he's going. I need to be with him, because without him, I don't know what I'm doing. That's it. He's my compass.
It's just, it's so good. Like, this was all about their relationship. Like the other things was always like, but I feel like that's why the other episodes were important, because we're able to see like there's still relationships building in this world that is dying, like kind of thing. It's like you have romantic relationships, you have brother relationships, and now you have like another like family, father-daughter relationship. It's just all those other things that people are like, oh, it's a filler episode, it's a bottle episode. I was like, yeah, but it still creates a feeling of that you need to get there. And like Knox said, Joel having panic attacks, then his little monologue about failing messed me up. That really,
that speech. And then when I realized that Ellie saw it, heard everything, oh my God, that just
because then obviously she didn't hear it for what it was worth. She just heard, "Take her away from me," but she didn't hear or maybe not hear or understand. Like, take her away from me.
Understand what he was saying. That I'm falling in love with this little girl. Like, she's becoming something that if I fail her, I'm going to end up like that.
I can't handle it.
Exactly.
Like I'm gonna end up like Henry.
Exactly. I'll be like Henry.
I'll turn. And that's how the episode started.
Exactly.
So that's how the episode started, was with the flashback of Henry doing that, because of Sam, you know, and I think Joel knows that. He goes, I've lost too much already. That her and the attachment I'm getting with her, it will be my last straw. That if I fail again, you know, like I can't.
I can fail myself, but I can't fail her.
Yeah.
And the more I'm with her, the more I'm feeling it. And I have to have more. I can't just do that. I can't lose her from this.
Yeah.
I thought that was so strong.
Yeah. And that's such a sacrifice. Was like, I love this person, but I need you to go handle it because I know I can't do it. And this person needs it done. So it needs to get done, even though I can't do it and everyone wants me to do it. You know, yeah, man. That was such a good scene. And he's just frustrated with the boot, trying to get the boot. His hand hurts and he's all beat up and jacked up and old and, you know, stressed out. Yeah, man, that sucks.
What'd you think about that scene? I know we can get some of the comments, but what'd you think about the scene that's like directly out of the game?
Which one?
Joel and Ellie. So the one in that room. So in the room, that's like, I'm telling you, that's like scene for scene right out of the game. Like they really delivered on that in the frustration and the hurtful words and it's just, I mean, it really, they did an unbelievable job. Ellie, she's won me over. Bella Ramsey is amazing. It was so good, and I felt every word, and I feel like they made it their own while still staying true to the game. Like it was a pretty epic scene.
Yeah, it was that the scene where she talks? Well, I know she talks about the book she read and like the heroes, that the astronaut, I believe.
Yeah, so
I forget what her name was.
The scene,
I know that was like from the game too.
So there's a lot of scenes from this, cut scenes from the game. But the one I'm talking about is when Joel is coming to tell her that, you know, hey, Tommy's going to be the one taking you there because I need you to get there, and her reaction and how, you know, she was almost drew out of Joel how he feels about her. Like she was pulling and pulling and pulling, and it almost came out like, girl, I love you. I can't deal with this. I can't go through the failure. And instead, he says, tomorrow we're going our own separate ways, and he shuts the door and all that. That scene, I mean, it's literally shot for shot from the game. It was exactly from the game, and I felt it. I really did feel it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good because everyone was so worked up in emotions and yeah. I mean, that's what you get when you get two great actors. You know, Bella Ramsey is a great young actress, and Pedro is obviously Pedro, and you know he's been doing this stuff for a while. But they're just so good, and they have chemistry together. You know what I mean? Like they just work so well together. You know, like they are Joel and Ellie. Like they
did a great job casting.
Yeah, 100%. And then where he said Tommy realizing he's a communist lifestyle was so funny because it was, and even Joel turned around like made fun of him.
But you know, it was communist. She's like, no, it's exactly a communist. It's exactly what's supposed to be. You know, Maria was so funny. I loved her too because she just was so matter of fact, actual. Her being a district attorney, just intelligent, being able to help run or something like that. It was beautiful. Because you also think about it, you could have lived in that community and they would have been fine, happily ever after.
Yeah,
Joel and Ellie could have been happily ever after in their own house. You could see her grow up. She would have been safe, and even if there weren't anything happens, they have the guns and everything else they need to stay safe right there. They didn't need to go out and do anything else.
Yep. So, but it's this idea of saving the world. You know, that she's the cure and she can save the world and stuff like that. Especially after what happened with Sam, I can feel like she's like, oh, if I can help, I want to help. You know, so
I think if Joel had said to her, "I just want to stay here with you. We just need to stay here for now, just for a little bit."
I think she would have been okay with it.
Yeah, because you saw her become a little girl. You saw her watching a movie. Yeah. Her taking a shower and having new clothes, and you know the way Maria had that conversation with her, like you could see her reverting back to being a little girl. Instead, this, you know, she's reading a diary saying this is all you had to worry about: picking out clothes and match, and boys and those type of relationships. That's all we had to worry about back then. And Joel thinks about it like that. Well, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
That was another intense scene for me, having little girls once again. You know, like, wow, can you imagine having to deal with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Knox said, I love the moment where Joel is like, you have a choice. I think Tommy's more capable. And then Ellie cuts him off as she hurriedly ran to the horse. Didn't even think about it. Yeah. Didn't even think about it. She goes, you don't even have to ask me. Like, you already know the answer. You know, and obviously, I think Joel obviously already knew the answer. That's why he went there. And
wasn't that cool though? He was like, yeah, you know, I was ready to leave. I tried to leave 30 minutes ago, and then I was still sitting here and realized I wanted to at least give you the opportunity to choose. And she was like, yeah, duh, you idiot. I choose you.
Yeah. Yeah. But even like Tommy was cool with it, you know, with all of it. You know, it's like, I'm gonna steal this horse. He's like, oh, I would have gave it to you. And he's like, can I have that gun? You know, Maria, he's like, I already said yes. You don't need to justify, like, here it is, you know. But even after that, the scene like of them on the horseback on the way to the campus, the university school campus, was so just nice, you know, because before he was so not angry. I don't know. He didn't want to talk about the past stuff. He didn't want to talk about the old world. You know,
he had his walls up.
He had his walls up.
Now, once he made it, he said that thing in that one scene, and then he decided to give her a choice: did you want to be with me, or did you want to go with Tommy? And she chose him. It's like all his walls came down. He's now an open book, and he's just I'm Joel. I am totally that. I'm not just you're not packaged. You are part of my family. It's like he accepted her as part of the family now.
Yeah, because I think that scene the night before in the room, I think she laid it out on the table. She goes, "Listen, man, you're all I got. You are my family." So you know, she threw it out there, and then it was up to him to choose whether or not he accepts it or not.
Yeah, he's going to reciprocate those feelings. He's going to let down his walls enough to let her know how much he cared. You know, and that was, I don't know. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting that he showed back up in the way he did it, because it still was very quiet for him. He still was able to, you know, to be reserved and still be Joel, but show her that, yeah, no, I'm here for you. You know, I chose you. I could have left, but I chose you. And I think that's all anyone really wants. Someone wants to know that they're being chosen.
Yeah. So, but I think at that moment, once she chose him, and then that was it. It was just like that's the moment they're like, okay, like we are daughter and father, kind of like it's that, you know what I mean? And then because he acted different. He showed her how to shoot, which was funny. You know, she was kind of still goofy. You know, like the curse. It still feels weird because I know she's not like 14. I think she's like 19 in real life.
19 years old, and she's wearing like a reducer.
I forget what it's called, chest thing. Yeah, to make her look obviously younger. But it just seems like because she does still like look like a 14-year-old in the show. You know, and all the curse words she's saying, I was like, "Oh, you got potty mouth," you know, like I'm not even that crazy
Maria
about
saw her,
that.
she was like, "She doesn't let this girl talk like that."
Yeah. But even that scene was great because, like, you know, she's the potty mouth and saying all the curse words, and then Joe's like, he goes, "We show some manners here," you know what I mean? And then like once Tommy says her and Maria, you know, are together. It's Ellie's turn. Is like, say thank you, like, or say congrats or whatever. You know, it's like how, but even that reminded me of like something Sarah would do. You know, Sarah would go and like, oh, you know, say you're welcome or say thanks, say congrats. You know,
that's what a daughter would do to a single father. Say, hey, you remember this.
Yeah, like you're supposed to feel this way now. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. But the whole thing, and then the ending, I don't know. Because the ending was so fast. I think who said it? Was it Horgy said it was rushed? I felt it was rushed, but I also felt like it needed to be rushed because they were so comfortable for so long, and then like the bad stuff needed to happen, and it needed to happen fast. You know, and I think they did that pretty well.
You know, I know, like even you just said, Dane said, you know, it needed more zombies in this episode, right? And I think the idea about the whole Last of Us idea is not, it's not the zombies that are doing all the stuff. It's the people. It's the zombies are dangerous, but the people are just as dangerous. Like, even when he's saying, how's this journey? Is it full of zombies and all that stuff? And he's like, no, it's not about them. It's about the raiders. It's about, we don't want people to know about this convent, this community, because of them on the outside. They're going to try to tear us down. Not the zombies, none of that. So I thought that was interesting too. That was the one that was the thing that they were more worried about.
Yeah. Yeah. So what next?
So I love Marla and Florence. I'm glad to see another old couple in their own world. It made me think of what if Bill and Frank would have reacted to Ellie. Frank would have spoiled her, and Bill would grumble. Hey, what's up, Lucas?
Somebody's like, I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, I believe it. Look at him.
He was sleeping for 5 hours. No, we went to bed early, and now he woke up early. So
I know.
Okay. Like, what's up?
Say hi, everybody. That's Lucas, guys.
That's the reason why I'm late and I miss shows, and or sometimes I lose track of my thoughts. It's like for the lack of sleep is because of this guy. So
he's just like Tank, except 1/8 his size.
Yeah. He's looking at all the lights right now. He's like, so, but it's
What's up, Lucas? So now just let him sit here. We won't talk about this while Lucas is here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let him stay. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Knox.
Another old couple,
that was a really cool thing to see, and see how other people are still living, in this world, and how their connection was still really cool. And it's funny when Marla came in, he was like, "So you fed them, gave them soup?"
No, the best part was when he's like, "You didn't shoot them?" She's like, "The gun's over there." Like she's just on the couch. It's so fun. But even like they even said something interesting where like they're like, "Oh, we were here before the zombies. Before that even happened, we were already up here." So I was like, "That's cool." Like they were already kind of like a retired old couple, there.
And they're fine to live off the land. They know how to deal with everything. It's no problem because they are, this is their life. So nothing changed for them. They didn't have a fence up. They didn't have all this other stuff. They were just living their life, chilling, doing what they do. So I love that part. And as Doc said, it kind of makes you think about Bill and Frank.
Yeah. Almost like, but like a little bit, because Bill and Frank were so very romantic all the time with each other. You know what I mean? Where the Marlon and Florence were very the old traditional couple that you always think of, or like
we've been together for 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. like there's a couple that don't need to talk; they just grunt and they kind of get it, exactly. Yeah, but I did appreciate that people could survive in this world if they really wanted to. Yeah,
exactly. And once again, it wasn't the zombies; it's the other people that are the problem.
Yeah,
and I think that's the main thought in all these episodes, is that it's not just the zombies that are the problem. It's the people. In every episode, it's the people that bring all the drama. The zombies are dangerous, but there's dangerous like dangerous animals or danger. Like you could deal with them in a certain way, but it's the people that are bringing all the other problems.
Yeah. They're the real threat.
The real threat, exactly.
Yeah.
Jorge said, "Cute baby."
Thank you, Jorge.
Look at him.
He's pulling out the back of his head, his bald spot. He's looking around. He's like, "Look at all this stuff." It looks like he's looking at the shelf back there, but it's just a green screen.
He's like, "This looks exactly like upstairs."
Yeah, exactly.
Knox said, "It annoyed me so much that Joel pulled the weapon out of himself. I felt like if he would have just worked better if the Raider stabbed him and then he ripped out the weapon instead of him pulling it out."
Oh, I get you.
If he would have held it in, he might have been able to not bleed out.
That's what I said. As a medical professional, I'm like, if you can just leave it in and wrap it up somehow, like, take off your jacket and just like wrap it so it doesn't actually go in more or move around. But that's my nursing thing is like, no, don't pull it out. He pulled it out like you were clogging you put a plug in the leak, man. Leave it in there.
Exactly. Yeah, you put a plug in the dam, and now you taking the plug out. All this stuff is going to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Oh. Hey, probably shouldn't be down here too much. So, the baby. So,
say bye,
whenever you hear me talking about why I'm late and stuff like that, this little man keeping me up. So, all right. You want to stand up. Right.
It'll be summertime. It'll be summertime soon enough to be warm in the basement.
Oh, it doesn't get too bad in the basement, but there's still a lot of smells and stuff. So, we'll work on it. Stared at me.
We'll work on it. I'm telling you, we can make this. We can make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to remodel the basement, but it's neither here or there. Yeah. Man, yeah, but it was a good episode, man. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah. I'm not a medical professional, but I knew that. Yeah, I mean,
don't pull out the plug out of the dam and then expect it all to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it probably would have hurt like all hell being on horseback and trying to run away, bouncing with that still inside, but probably
he could have made it back to the community. He probably
I don't know, because that was a 5-day. Wasn't that a 5-day ride?
I thought that it was.
It was a multiple day ride. I think they said.
I
don't know how long they said. Was it 2 days? Might have been 2 days. Yeah. That's still a lot. I mean, he's still gonna be bleeding, and he's probably because then also if it's staying in that long, sepsis might kick in, and any other kind of infection because it is open wound.
And it's dirty.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's dirty. It's not good. It's not good. But pulling it out is definitely going to be quicker.
Then what happens then?
I don't know. I don't know. I wonder. I think. I don't know how close they're going to keep it to the game and stuff like that. I don't know. It's been fairly close enough to the game.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what happens in the game. But I think Tommy's going to come and save him.
Yep.
I think Maria might be with them or somebody.
5-day ride.
Was it 5? I know they said multiple day. So there's no way they're going back. Even if they patch him up right now, he wouldn't make it back. Yeah, he wouldn't make it back. I think I don't know. Do they go back though? Because I could one of two things I think was gonna happen: either Tommy and Maria or a group from the what was it called, Jackson, I think.
Yeah,
the little town. They come and save him, or another group of fighters find him and bring him in. Or maybe dragonflies, or what are they called? Not dragonflies, fireflies.
All right, the fireflies, exactly. So do you go back to that town, or do you go to where they're now? Do you go to? Is it closer to go to Colorado?
Yeah.
What's closer?
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting.
How much does Ellie know how to do? Does Ellie know how to stitch him up?
Yeah.
Does she know to use the flask as anesthetic? What does she know?
Yeah, I mean, I know she says she's read, so it's gonna be interesting. Is what did you? I assume they would teach her first aid stuff, especially in this kind of world. But I don't know. I don't know.
Because we're gonna get a flashback into her school, the stuff that she went through. How did she get bitten the first time? And all that stuff. In that time, did we find out that she was going to become an officer, and they taught her how to do some first aid stuff? So they really show that, and then now they go back to present time, 20 minutes into the movie to the show, and then they show that she was able to dress his wounds and get him onto something flat. They haven't moved far, but she's done enough to save his life again.
Yeah.
which then puts their connection even stronger again. Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to live forever. I'm just saying that she saves his life for now.
Yeah. Well, then the Horror Geek says, Left Behind and David's story is left.
Yeah.
So basically the Winter Saga of the game. So I never played it, so I just watched like YouTubers and Twitch people play it 9 years ago at this point. So yeah.
It's been such a long time.
Yeah. I never finished watching the second video game. And my girlfriend never watched any of it. So one of her favorite streamers wind up playing the second game. So she just watched the entire second gameplay. And I think she said if season 1 is game 1 and season 2 is game 2, she don't want to watch season 2.
Yeah, that's
not because it was bad. They're going to figure out. She said not because it was bad. She goes, it was a good story, but damn, it was violent. It was violent. Every time I went upstairs and she was watching it, somebody was getting killed. So, like, it was very violent, very gruesome. But game 2 had a lot of other issues that other people had. She just said she doesn't like very gory, graphic kind of stuff, and there was a lot of violence in game 2. But game 1, I mean, it's considered one of the best games ever, story wise.
And I think
very dark. That's a good way to put it. Very dark.
I think that we reached that turning point that if they realized that they would have stayed in Jackson, their lives would have been so much different.
They could have lived happy ever after.
Exactly.
But yeah. Well, so what do you think is going to happen? What do you see happen at the start of the next episode?
So of course, the start is going to be about her going back in the time to show her friend and how she had her officers training and all the other stuff, and her goofing off is what got her bit the first time, and find out that she didn't become a zombie and all that stuff. And then it's going to come back to common regular time, and then I think Tommy is going to. It's going to be a couple of days, and Tommy's going to be worried, and he's going to follow, just to make sure they're okay. And my question is, does Tommy end up having to be sacrificed, trying to save Joel?
Nah, I don't think so. We just got introduced to Tommy. I mean, they could kill him off, and no one would be too upset. At least non-video game players won't be too upset. But I think he still's got a role to play. I think.
I hope so. And I just don't know how close they'll keep it to the game. There's only 2 things left. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen. So I feel like obviously Joel. I don't think Joel dies yet. So we got some time for that still. This is not what kills him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you said personally, I really liked part 2 and thought it was a more ambitious game. Definitely was. The show can fix some pacing issues some people had with it. Yeah. My girlfriend liked it a lot. She said it was really good. She said number 1 was still good, but I think if HBO tells it like one long story rather than being the second game and stuff like that, I think they could tell it pretty good. And I think a lot of people that already had issues with this season, they're like, all right, if you're not going to watch it, don't watch it. Because if you had issues with certain things in this season, then you're going to really hate the next season possibly and stuff like that. So I think this season's kind of weeding out those people. And then, I mean, granted, there's still like record number people watching it on HBO. So, it's not like starving for attention. It's definitely still like probably one of the best things on TV right now.
It's funny. We're talking about the what's going to happen next. I feel like Tommy is the most important character from now on. Like he's going to be the one. Think about it. Joel went all the way to Wyoming for where he was on the East Coast to Wyoming. Who the hell wants to go to Wyoming? No one, even now. It's just, and he's going all the way to Wyoming just to check on his brother. And I think that's weighing on Tommy. And little things that that Joel said to Tommy, like, hopefully you will be a good father. Things like those type of little things make Tommy feel like I kind of gave up on family. I need to make sure that he's okay.
Yeah.
And so like I think Tommy's going to be a central character, in the next couple of episodes. I don't know, 2 or 3, whatever. That Tommy's going to be the dude, and a lot of this is going to focus on him. And as far as Joel gets, it's going to depend on Tommy.
I can see that. But I can see like what's her name, Ellie, like making sure Joel is still good.
She'll do whatever, do whatever to try to make sure he's okay. Yeah.
And Jorge said, they already introduced part 2 cameos in this episode.
Yeah.
And then Knox said, I think I saw Dina. And a lot of people said that where even the director show writer guy was like, oh, thank you guys. Like he put something funny on Twitter about this in specific. But the darkness and the grift of part 2, but serious pacing issues episode, especially with Abby's section. We're gonna get to all of that stuff, but there's filler. It's a video game, so there's always a lot of filler.
Well, I mean, and you can see what they did with this. They put a lot of filler, but they took filler and they explained all of it out. So things that you didn't really understand what was going on, they've taken the TV show to explain and give good stories to help put it together, try to hold it together better. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah, because a video game, you always see it from like one person's view, obviously, because you are playing that person. Where a TV show, it can explore things. It can explore a deeper connection in Bill and Frank that we got like one sentence of what could possibly happened before. So you can do different things.
We got more with Tess. We saw more with all the characters, so I feel like that. Henry saying, I mean, the mob. Like the militia, like we understand them more, and they've taken liberties in order to make it more cohesive. And I appreciate that, and I think that I'm not worried about season 2. I think they're going to give us everything we need. They're going to put the story and make it make sense. Yeah.
I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but Abby's story, the Rat King, certainly grateful for. Best horror moment of both games. Had good moments, but I mean, we're talking about part 2 because that's right around the corner. We got 3 more episodes,
7, 8, 9
for this, and then that's it. And then we're on to part 2. And from what we were told, is part 1 or season 1 is the first game, and season 2 is going to be the second game. So that's what they told us. I think that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, so, I think they're going to stay true to that.
Yeah, and this might be just a two maybe 3 season season.
It's 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think so. They might stretch the second game into two because there is a lot of stuff that's happening there as well. But they could cut it and make 10 episodes and call it. But we'll see.
It depends on what they make it 10 episodes and they put 5 and 5.
So they said they would split part 2 into 2 seasons. So we're getting at least 3 seasons. So which I see because there's like a lot of stuff that happened in part 2.
Ellie grows up and a lot of stuff is happening and
part 2 is longer and there's more in depth and more thought. I don't know how to say it. There's more, characters think about things a little bit more in part 2, I think. Be good. 3 seasons, good.
What if they go back to Florence and what's his name? Marlon.
Marlon. Well, they're farther, aren't they? They're even farther than the city.
So there was a 2-day trip from their house to get to the community because they went to sleep overnight in that cave and they had to go there. So possibly that's closer. Like maybe Tommy gets there, they need to decide where they're going to go, and then they say, okay, we're going to go back to to their place, Florence, and or even maybe they're the ones that find them.
Maybe they find him random.
Maybe Marlon's out there and he sees her struggling and he finds him. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens and if they get back to Jackson at all.
Yeah, they should let them into Jackson. They might. They might.
That was their
but
choice.
Can they make it? Can they make it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without bringing too much attention to the entire community, because Tommy's got to think about he has an unborn daughter or son, that he has to protect.
Yeah. It's gonna be good, man. The next couple ones are gonna be really, really good. I cannot wait for this. Like every week, man. I don't know how. There's very few shows where every episode is better or just as good as the last one.
Every episode, I found myself saying, "Man, was that my best episode? Man, was that the best episode?"
Exactly. Even this one, I feel was like very different from some of the last ones, but it's still
no zombies.
It's still hit.
There's
no zombies.
There's no nothing. No fungus out there. It's cold,
which makes sense though. It's cold. Yeah, they're cold. It's winter. Like now they got used to growing in hot stuff, like in the human body. So can they survive the cold like that? Yeah, I wonder if we get more stuff like that.
Yeah, I would immediately thought to go to cold area. Like, where do you not see these things?
Yeah.
Non-moist place. When it's frozen, because you need moisture, you need darkness. That's what you need to grow mushrooms. So go to places where it's not moist. It's very dry. Very dry, very cold.
Yeah. Very bright. All the snow makes it nice and bright. So, yeah. Oh yeah. So real quick, let me pull up these last one because Knox said a thing I thought was really interesting. What was when it pops up? She said, "I love how they played an '80s song at the end. '80s means trouble." Yes,
exactly.
Yes, and it also the song itself in the context of the show meant something, but the song itself meant something to the situation that they were in. So I was like, great. Even at the end, I'm like, oh, great song at the end. It just it summed up
the hopelessness and everything that the trouble that they're in. It summed it up perfectly.
Yeah. And it being an '80s song, which means trouble in the show. So yeah. Love that one. And then Jorge said, "I saw some people complaining about the last episode being 6 minutes long, but honestly, the end segment of the game was pretty short."
Yeah.
Oh, the last episode 9 is gonna be 46 minutes. I mean, by then, you're done telling a story and you're concluding. Yeah, you're concluding the story. You're done building up things. You're done setting up things, and hopefully, that last episode is just the conclusion of it all. Because you're not doing anything else anymore. You're finishing it. So I don't mind it. I mean, as a fan, I wish I get another 85-minute episode like episode 1, but I get why episode 1 has to be 85 minutes because you're setting up a bunch, and I get why the last one might be a little bit shorter is because it's the end.
Bring you to the cliff, and they'll tell you like, cliffhanger. That's it.
No, I think it's gonna have an ending, but then obviously, there's always space for a sequel because obviously they made a sequel video game. So, but I'm cool with 46 minutes. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I want more, but if it's done well, there's no reason why not to believe it's going to be done well. So, but cool, man. Damn, we've been talking about this one for a while.
Yeah, it was good. I feel like we need to really flush it out. This was a very good episode, and it deserved to talk about all the stuff that happened, even though it was very non-violent, not action. Yeah, it was a huge action, but it was the story. It really brought along the story, and we're going to enjoy the next 2 episodes because of all the information we got from this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
789 will be great.
So Jorge's saying episode 1 was supposed to end when Joel threw that kid in the fire. Remember when they at Boston? He goes, but they combined episode 1 and 2 together, which is the reason why there's only 9 episodes and not 10 episodes.
Wow.
that would make sense because
And
then it would be
why-
2 shorter-ish episodes.
And they really wanted to introduce Ellie in the episode 1. That makes perfect sense. I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they made those choices because I would have been upset if they didn't introduce Ellie immediately.
Definitely a better way to go. And also it being 85 minutes, I believe.
Yep.
You know, like
those are the best ones. Those are like, you know, when we talk about those Marvel ones that they have 2-3 episodes at the same time. It's a good introduction. That, you know, it almost gives you binge worthy, you know, binge opportunity because you're watching that much of the episode. You know.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's a good way to hook you on. And now every week I'm like, all right, what time is it? Is it 9 o'clock yet? Check the app.
Is it on? Come on at 8? It comes out at 8, I think.
All I know is I check my app like every 15 minutes. Like, is it on yet? Is it on yet? Is it on yet?
I get notifications on Twitter. I follow a few channels and they're like 15 minutes before episode blah 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 starts. I was like, really? And they're like, episode blah 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 starts right now. I was like,
you're like, okay. You guys are terrible. Why am I watching that? And as you walk to the TV,
yeah, I know.
Turn it on exactly the same amount of time.
Yeah, but yeah, super excited, super happy. Great show, man. This was, and you know what's even better is we're gonna get Pedro Pascal, and then it's gonna lead into Pedro Pascal. Like we're gonna get one great season or series of The Last of Us, and that's gonna end, and then right into him doing the same thing but in Star Wars with the Mandalorian.
Exactly.
So yeah, it is, man, that guy is on. He's at the peak right now. So
I mean, he's doing great things, and I'm enjoying the journey. That's the biggest thing. I'm enjoying the journey that we're going on right now.
I mean, he's saving Star Wars. He had one of the best SNLs in a long time, and he's given us the best video game adaptation, like show on HBO, and even probably one of the better things on HBO in a long time too. So
yeah, this quality. I mean,
yeah. This is HBO, like what you remember what
House
HBO
of the Dragons,
was.
I mean, but come on.
House of the Dragon was okay, but yeah, it was. I don't want to hate on it, but yeah, it was good. It was good. But we also saw that before. It was kind of like it was okay. This I prefer this one over House of Dragon.
Yeah, I think they're both. There's room for both.
They're different.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just don't ever play them at the same time. Yeah, but super happy about it all. It's all good stuff. Yeah, definitely best live action video game adaptation. 100%.
Easy.
Yeah.
Got anything else?
Cool. I was gonna ask you.
No, this is it. I'm done.
Night.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was a long one. 2 topics. That's all we had today. It was just 2 topics. It took 2.5 hours. So, yeah. And then
I like what Knox says. Yeah. Exactly.
They're doing their own ways. It's true. They are
trying to get me to choose between my children. No.
HBO knows what they're doing. It's like, we're gonna give you greatness and then another greatness. Like, there ain't no time.
I still don't trust Warner Brothers. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But all right, let's get out of here. Appreciate everyone hanging out in chat. Horror Geek Knox, thank you. I know Brandon came in, but he was asking about our previous topic. But cool. We're gonna cut these up. So if you want to just watch us talk about Ant-Man for a while with the Cult Lords, you know, we're gonna make sure you can go check our channel out. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when we post all of our edited live streams.
Yeah,
a good word. Yeah. So, and then if you want to be part of the show, like Knox and Horror Geek, make sure you hit that subscribe button and then check us out live every Monday and Thursdays. Sorry, Mondays and Thursdays. Yeah, I'm getting tired, man. And you can be part of the show like they were with us all this episode of The Last of Us, Walking Dead.
Look at you, man.
It is a temper.
It's funny because you're exhausted. You're gonna go back upstairs, and Lucas gonna be like, "Nah, bro, you ain't going to sleep."
Nah, yep, exactly. I'm like, come on, man, go to sleep. Yeah, but cool. like I said, thank you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday. We'll see you on Thursday.
Guys, we'll see you on Thursday. You'll see our videos. We have a lot more videos to release. We have some things that we're going to release for the Oscars this week too. So thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to sign us off this time so Tank can go to sleep.
Exactly.
We will see you guys later. See you
later.